Welcome to Girl Talk. Thanks for joining us today. We are in the showroom here at Bella Domicile. Once again, love it. We really can't get too much, I think, of visiting these folks. They treat us so well. Everybody's so nice. And today, when we chat with them, we're going to learn about what a kitchen designer does. I know that sounds kind of, I don't know, you think about it, it's like, well, they design your kitchen, but there really is so much more.
So much more.
So much different than just the cosmetic stuff that maybe we think about, you know, your countertop or something like that.
Well, there's rules and regulations, and these are the kinds of things that I'm so glad I don't have to think about when talking about redoing or redesigning. And we're actually in my favorite kitchen in the showroom. I like the sleek, modern look.
It's so pretty.
And when we were chatting earlier, when you do try to do it yourself, Jessa, you made the point of how many times do you go back to the hardware store in one day? You know,
even just for me hanging a mirror, let alone, God forbid, doing a kitchen. I mean, I got to go back several times to get the right nails or the right hanging piece or what have you, because...
Or you measured something wrong, or...
Oh, no, I didn't measure. That's probably the problem. I guesstimated.
Skip that step.
Right.
And the other cool thing about Bella Domicile is they have really great storage solutions, and I always get kind of a kick out of them. Secret compartments, so to speak, and just clever ways to store things. I like that. I enjoy that.
I like everything sort of put away and hidden, not out. Just makes cleaning easier.
It does.
That's for sure.
Looks cleaner, feels better, that whole thing. We're going to meet someone new today. This is a Dane County Circuit Court judge, and she's running for that. Marilyn Townsend is going to visit with us. She's a lawyer that actually works a lot with discrimination cases.
Without getting on a whole other topic, talk about a big job, especially in this day and age with so much in the news and press about discrimination of all kinds. I mean, what an incredible woman to take on such a huge task, and now running for judge. I mean, I just can't wait to talk to her.
And she is just such a positive person. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you guys felt that when she came in. She just lights up. You can just tell she brings so much enthusiasm and positivity. So I'm excited to get to know her more, because it's not something you get to do a lot with different candidates for different positions. So it's kind of cool to meet them and see what they're like as a person and kind of what they stand for.
Absolutely.
And especially amazing is just how long she's had that track record of working on that kind of issue. She obviously is very passionate and sincere about it.
So very sincere.
So enjoy that.
That's a good word for it.
All right, moving on to technology. Let's see, you're an iPhone user. iPhone.
Not by
But
choice.
I like both. I like both.
And iPhone.
iPhone, only iPhone.
I want to know if you guys have updated yet.
Yes, because you told me about it, and I love it.
I'm too scared.
I love it.
Hey, if you haven't updated yet, I recently did, and I'm one of those folks that's kind of the last one to do it because I'm afraid it's going to mess up my phone.
You beat me.
Yeah, well.
I didn't even
I'm
know
scared.
about it.
I'm scared.
Janet knew first. She told me.
The Wall Street Journal says it's okay, so go ahead and do it, Elise. You're going to love it. There's a lot of great new things.
Put it off because I'm in the middle of something, but
the rest of us are goofing around with our phones while you're working.
Yeah.
busy, thank you.
All right, well, speaking of technology, we are going to speak with Madison Geeks. Kalal Cunningham, one of our favorite geeks, is coming on next. We'll be right back right after this.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. We're filming here at Bella Domicile. We'll check in with them in a little bit. But first, we've got Kalal from Madison Geeks. Thanks for coming in and bringing our eyewear.
Of course.
You always know it's Madison Geeks time when we've got the glasses on.
I feel smarter already.
Right? Feel enlightened.
Well, I always feel, yes, a little enlightened each time we see you because I learned something new. This is something that I know nothing about. Ellen sounds like she's a little informed, but
only slightly.
Not me.
Only slightly.
So we're gonna learn together today. Let's talk a little bit about Windows. And first, starting off with Windows Hello. I guess in theory is a neat feature, but it seems frustrating for a lot of people. Do you have any tips to help people with this?
Of course. Well, Windows Hello is a relatively new feature in the Windows 10 category.
Okay.
What that introduces is what we've been kind of used to on our mobile devices lately. What it allows for you to do is you can speak to it, and it will. When you set up Windows 10, you give it a password so you can log into it.
Sure.
But remembering your password each time can be frustrating. So with phones now, you can do biometrics, which is the fingerprint. What Windows 10 Hello does is it can actually see your face, recognize that it's you. You can use your voice And then also you can, if you have a laptop that has an actual fingerprint scanner or biometric scanner on there, it will be able to log you in with a touch of with your finger
I
as
can
well.
see how that could become frustrating, though.
Yeah.
Well, the setup is frustrating. That's the thing, is what people sometimes buy it saying, oh, I got this cool new feature, but they're not, there's no real easy path to, there's nothing really walking you through setting it up.
Okay.
So as Windows 10 gets better, they'll probably integrate it more, but right now you have to kind of go out and set it up, and what most people end up doing is just using their password after all.
Sure.
I'm wondering if it would recognize me from Morning Janet
Right.
from New
Right?
Exactly.
I'm
Does not
picturing like
compute.
a Mission Impossible laser like
Yep,
scanning your face. It seems really cool though. And I know that Windows also launched a new browser, and that's come up on my computer right now. So what's that like?
So the new browser is called Edge. It's the Microsoft Edge browser. It's different. It's new. It's very lightweight. So the concept of it is that it's going to be easy to use and mainly used just for simple browsing. The problem is businesses can't really utilize it too well. It's not compatible with a lot of websites. Even just going to websites on your own, it's very difficult sometimes to use the Edge browser. So maybe over the next couple releases they'll update it, make it better. But right now it's a new thing. I still recommend Google Chrome,
Sure.
Firefox as well, and Internet Explorer was a mess for Microsoft, so this is kind of their refresh and their reattempt to make a browser that people are not frustrated with.
I'd hate to go up against Google Chrome.
Yeah.
All right, there's a feature that's called Cortana, and actually it sounds like it's more of a who than a what.
Right.
Tell us about it.
Well, if you're not uncomfortable with your computer talking to you, Cortana is the intelligence behind Windows 10. Well, it's the voice behind Windows 10. You can speak to it. Certain machines will be designed to be able to call it out. So you can say Cortana, and it will respond to you. Siri is the same on Apple.
Okay.
Amazon has the Echo, and Google has Google Now. So all these kind of browser / operating systems are trying to introduce this thing that talks back to you.
Why are they women?
Smarter.
There we go. I'm not going to fight you there.
Good answer.
Welcome to Girl Talk. Okay, so Windows 10, do they have parental controls, real quick?
They do, yes. Windows 10 definitely has parental controls. It depends what you need it for. If you set it up, it can be, there's a lot of walkthroughs, or give us a call and we can give you a walkthrough or set it up for you. But mainly, once it's set up, you can have it block certain types of internet websites that you don't want your kids to access.
Absolutely.
And you can kind of control the programs that they have access to, violent games, so forth. So there's a lot of options to do that with Windows 10.
Seems like that would be an never-ending battle.
Issue.
Yeah.
It always is.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Kalal, for being here. Like I said, we always learn something new.
Of course.
Stay tuned for more Girl Talk. We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. We are here at Bella Domicile, and with us now we have Marilyn Townsend. Now you are a Dane County attorney and also a municipal court judge with Dane County as well. Thank you so much for being with us today.
I am delighted to be here on Girl Talk. This
I
is
love
very
it.
exciting.
You've had such just a positive attitude and like glow about you this morning, so we're excited to have you on the show. And you're actually running for Dane County Circuit Court Judge in the spring election coming up in May 2017.
April, yes.
April,
Yeah.
excuse me. April of 2017.
Correct, the spring election.
Okay, perfect. And so we're excited to have you on the show, obviously, thinking ahead of time. It's good to get to know the candidates, and we just want to know some more about you and who you are.
Well, I'm delighted to be here. I'm a labor and employment lawyer in Dane County. I represent folks with job problems and discrimination actions. I've worked for 30 years to be sure folks get equal treatment in the job place.
Wow. Such an important role
Well, it is.
when you need that help.
It is an
Absolutely.
important role, and let's kind of talk a little bit about some of the duties of that role. So let us know some of your sort of job functions as a judge and what your sort of day-to-day is like. What do you do?
Well, in addition to being a full-time lawyer, I'm a part-time municipal court judge for the village of Shorewood Hills, where I deal with children and adults who have gotten into trouble with the law. And what I do is I listen to their situation, listen to the extenuating circumstances, and then decide what we're going to do. Whenever possible, I try to hold sentencing. So for example, children, young teenagers can go to drug and alcohol assessment, and if they follow treatment, then I will dismiss the charges. It's about education, not punishment.
I think that's so important. I mean, first of all, your role as a listener is an important one,
absolutely.
because you need to take in all of the information and really find out what's going on. But being able to help them on a bigger level, to your point, not just about the punishment piece component.
So Marilyn, when Ellen brought us in, she mentioned that you're a candidate for Dane County Circuit Court Judge. And why are you seeking that position?
Because it builds on the work I've been doing for 30 years, attempting to get equality in the court system. So I think I have great experience, number one, and I think I can make a real contribution. This is a time where there's a lot of issues about discrimination among peoples and unfairness in the court system, and that's what I've been dealing with for 30 years.
And it's so nice to have you just sit down with us today, because I think a lot of people don't get that opportunity, you know, to have a really up-close look at a candidate who's running for a position. And so kind of building off of that, what should people evaluate when it comes to choosing a candidate to vote for?
That's a great question. I think number one, you look at the person's experience. I have experience that none of the 17 judges on the circuit court currently have. And you look at who's supporting the candidate. I'm so proud to have the endorsement of Court of Appeals Judge Joanne Kloppenberg, former Attorney General Peg Lautenschlager, former Lieutenant Governor Barbara Lawton, Senator Risser, and many other legislators. I think it speaks to my values and my experience that these folks trust me to be the next Dane County Circuit Court Judge.
Some big endorsements
Incredible.
there.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to your current role, for people who are at home or at work watching and maybe having a little bit of an issue with an insurance complaint or something, you know, with discrimination in the workplace, how can you help? How can they get in touch with you?
Well, I recommend if you have problems on the job, if you've been discharged, if you think you were treated unfairly, if you have a problem with an insurance company, call me. 608-255-5111. I also have a website, but most important, in that first phone call, which doesn't cost anybody anything, I will listen and I will see if I can help the person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's a big point we can take away from this conversation today is you've got to be a great listener, and we can definitely pick up on that.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being with us today, Marilyn Townsend. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here.
We love having you, and we'll be back with more Girl Talk right after this.
Welcome back to Girl Talk. We have been filming here in the fantastic, most beautiful showroom here at Bella Domicile. We absolutely love coming here. And I don't know about you at home, but I certainly have lots of questions when I think about my home and I think about design. So we're going to take some of the mystery out for you today and pick Kate's brain, who's a designer here at Bella Domicile, about the most frequently asked questions. So I'm very excited for this, Kate. Thanks for having us.
Segment.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so I feel like we're on a countdown and we need a
Yeah.
drum roll. However,
Let's go.
first question is, what is the difference between an interior decorator and a kitchen designer? Great question that I'm
Good
sure comes up
question.
a lot.
We do. We get asked this one a lot. So the big difference between a designer and a decorator. So a decorator often deals a lot with material selection and solely focuses on that quite a bit, whereas a designer, we often have to have a certain level of education as well as licensing. There's several different license programs that we can do, as well as just work experience.
Okay. So there's a big difference in terms of training, it sounds
Yes.
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
But also scope of work. You're dealing with potentially some bigger design moves versus, like you said, just materials and
Right.
cosmetic. Good word, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we deal a lot with floor plans. So in floor plans, when you're space planning, you have different ADA accessibility codes often, different building codes. So that's
The
something-
rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So getting down to the nitty gritty.
Sure. So question number 2, this kind of has to build off question number 1. Why do you need a kitchen designer?
Great question too. So a kitchen designer, a designer in general, we're able to help you out through the entire process. So it's not often someone comes in and has done a remodel before or has built a home before. And so we want to make it as stress-free as possible. So that's where our different levels of expertise and training come into play, and we can really help you throughout the entire process.
Well, when you get down to it, in our course of learning here, you realize how many choices there are,
Right.
how much there is to take into consideration, and it's almost like the more you dive in, the more you realize that there's a lot to choose from, which is really exciting.
Right.
But it's also a little bit daunting if this is your first time. So having somebody walk you through that process is just so key in making it fun.
Those are all really good points. You have all the contacts, you know all the right people.
Right.
And I liked your point of how often do you remodel your kitchen?
Right.
So it's our first time, and it's old hat for you guys.
Yep.
Only makes sense to go to an expert. So, question number 3.
Yes.
A lot of the hardware stores out there offer free design assistance. So why should we not choose them, choose you? What do you think about
so
that?
great question too, and it depends on which big box store or whatnot. But we offer our services to come to your home, and so what that means is we actually take measurements for you. You don't have to come in here with measurements. It's always helpful if you can at the initial meeting, but we'll actually go out there and do that for you. And we also, while we're at your home, the biggest thing is looking how it functions for you. So does your workstation currently work well for you, or is that something that we need to change up so we can revise it so it does work even better? So we actually pay attention to all the specific details that are currently in your home and how we can change that to work even better for you.
I just think, to my experiences going to a hardware store, and not that it's not always lovely, but I have never gone once, I don't think. I always wind up going back, and I kind of think of that as possibly being, similar in this scenario where you're taking a measurement, you know what you're looking for, you know what you need, and so that eliminates some of the double work, probably partially too.
Yeah, and you'll get a designer, a lead designer specific to your project. So if you ever have any questions, you can contact us at any time, email, phone. We're always available to answer any questions you may have.
Very good. Okay, so we talked a little bit about why you would need a designer. What about when? When is a good time to jump in?
Yes, so there's never a bad time to have a designer. It's always best to have us start from the beginning if possible. Every design decision is usually related and interconnected, so it's always best if we can start from the beginning.
Very good.
Have you ever had any situations where somebody has called you and they're like, I just ripped my cabinets off the wall. Can
I
you
went
come
to
in
the
and help?"
hardware store.
Yeah,
I
and
thought I
that
could do
helps.
it myself.
Yeah, and we're able to help
Oh,
in that
gosh.
situation as well. So if you're more of a DIY, do-it-yourselfer, we can step in at any phase.
Or people like me, I try to be DIY and then I get about halfway through and I'm like, yep, I can't handle this.
Realize
Or
it's a
your
little over your head.
husband. Yeah. My husband
Exactly.
tried to do it. Now I need help.
Yes.
Right,
Yes,
right.
and we can definitely step in and help and
Absolutely.
anytime.
So for their first meeting with you, what should they have ready? I know you had mentioned measurements are nice, don't need to have them though.
Right.
What other things should they have?
So the biggest thing, we like to have our initial meetings here in the showroom, and we just be prepared to answer a lot of questions. If you have inspiration photos, if you've been to a friend's house and you love their design of their kitchen, it's always great to have some kind of inspiration with you, whether it be a color scheme. We've had clients bring in a specific tile that they want to kind of blend in.
Sure.
So the biggest thing is just be prepared to answer questions, because it's really just about us getting to know you and your space.
And I think what's neat about that too is you may come in with a certain idea or photo, and then
Right.
you get here and get inspired by other ideas
Yeah.
that you didn't know existed. And that's
Exactly.
part
And a
the
lot of
fun.
clients, they don't know what their style is, they're not sure if they have a style, and we're able to, through questions, kind of get that out of them.
Perfect.
So if someone is even just thinking, they're not even sure if they are going to do a remodel,
Yep.
they could call you and
Definitely, anytime. It's always great to see our showroom and kind of get a sense of our different storage solutions, and it helps you think about your kitchen and what you really want to change.
Oh my
Absolutely.
Gosh, so fun. I enjoyed this very much. Thanks,
Yeah.
Kate. That was
great.
It makes me want to get on my Pinterest page and just pin away.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, and then bring your
And then
pins
bring it
in.
Right? Be like, can you just make this happen?
What we've learned here is you don't need to do it yourself. Right. But that was wonderful. Well, all of your do-it-yourself or FAQs answered, and I think the moral of the story is come on in at whatever phase you're in, and
Exactly.
let Kate and the experts here at Bella Domicile walk you through, answer all your questions, and get you inspired. It's pretty exciting.
Yes.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much to Bella, of course, for having us as usual. We love being here. Thanks to all of our guests, and thank you for watching. Join us next time on Girl Talk.